So I know most of you, many of you probably know that June is designated as Pride Month. Yay! LGBTQ plus Pride Month. And it isn't June. And I'll be honest with you, I had a little bit of I wasn't sure how to speak about Pride Month. Or whether to speak about Pride Month, honestly. I did struggle with that a little bit. And then I saw this post, social media post, posted by my niece, which was a little surprising, actually. And it said, Pride matters. Because somewhere tonight, someone believes that being dead is better than being gay. Pride matters. And so that touched me, and I thought, yeah, it does matter. Because I remember as a teenager, I had an uncle, my mother's brother, who said to me once, I would rather my child be dead than be gay. And so I know how that can be heavy and can go into your spirit, can go into your central nervous system and really affect you. So I know that. And so it does matter for us to stand and to create safe places for all people, especially people who have been oppressed or disinherited, dismissed, disowned in some ways, right? And so, yes, Pride matters because there are still people, especially young people, who've taken that on and somehow believe that it might be better to be dead. And some of them are choosing that. So it does matter. And certainly not wanting to detract from Pride Month. You know, it is an aspect of a person. It is one aspect of a person. It is not the whole person. It is not the whole person. But so is not the whole person someone's skin color. So is, and we're going to be celebrating Juneteenth in a couple of weeks, where the enslaved people in Texas, after several years of emancipation, finally learned that they were emancipated. There are people today that are being oppressed because of their religion. Because of their gender, even. I saw a report just the other day about in Muslim countries how women are oppressed and not given full citizenship, or even that they even are human in some ways. So people are oppressed for many reasons, just because of one aspect of their personage, their humanity. And I was reminded as I was thinking through this week, meditating and praying and journaling, and how do I speak in a way that is in any way meaningful about this idea of pride. And I was reminded of a book by the theologian Howard Thurman called Jesus and the Disinherited. And in this book, he brings up the question about, and this was written during the Jim Crow era and later before the equal rights before, what am I thinking of? before the 60s. I mean, he was writing about how can Christianity speak to people who are oppressed and disinherited, especially black people, people of color. I don't know that he answers the question, but he opens himself up to what are we bringing to people who are oppressed? And so it made me question, what are we in New Thought? That we create safe spaces. What is it we bring to people? Not just LGBTQ plus people who are oppressed in other ways. You know, we can look around this room today and we don't see many people of color. But what do we bring to that? How can we assist other people? How can we speak about pride? How can I talk about pride? And some of you know that I really like acronyms. And so I came up with this acronym for pride. P-R-I-D-E. And the P stands for power. And we teach that we have power over our world. Not the world, but we have power over our world. Because, don't you agree that we all sort of live in our own worlds? Each one of us lives in our own world. Our world of thought, our world of feeling, our world of conditioning, our world of beliefs. We live in our own vibrational world. And we have power over that world. That world. Your world. My world. That's what we teach in New Thought. In Science of Mind, religious science. And what came to me this week about that is our Christian tradition teaches that if you interpret it in a certain way. And the way I interpret this particular Christian scripture is that God, as love, whole love, unconditioned love, loved you into being, loved you into manifestation, loved you into your unique expression of the allness that you are, loved you into that, and you are love. And when you recognize that, when you come into the recognition and realization and embodiment of that, then we are uplifted. We are redeemed. Our world is redeemed. That is salvation. That is enlightenment. It happens right here. For God so loved that it gave itself to you, as you. And when you recognize that, when you realize that, then your world is redeemed. You're saved. And then that changes your view of yourself. And then changes your worldview, doesn't it? So you have power to question your thoughts, question your beliefs, question your religion, question the culture that you grow up in, question and change your thinking, change your beliefs, and yes, even change your religion. Right? Change. You have the power to change your world. And then the world that we perceive, the world that we co-create, does begin to change, doesn't it? So power. R for me is resilience. You know, back in the early 2000s, I don't remember exactly when it was, there was a social media, 3-word social media campaign that was directed toward LGBTQ youth. Anybody remember what that was? It gets better. Do you remember hearing that? It gets better. There were lots of posts from celebrities and movie stars and musicians, different people who were saying to the youth, it gets better. Encouraging. It gets better. Well, you know, when you're in the middle of that, sometimes it's hard to believe it gets better. When you're feeling that oppression, when you're going through a hard time, when you may be thinking that it might be better to be dead than if face whatever the world is telling you is wrong with you, sometimes it's hard to believe it gets better. But it gets better is a mantra that we can also embrace because it is a symbol of hope. Hope. That things do get better. Things will change. If we give up hope, then what are we left with? Resignation. With this is just the way it is. Well, this doesn't have to be the way it is, does it? We have power. We can change ourselves. In her book, The Gifts of Imperfection, Dr. Brené Brown talks about resilience, and she talks about it as cultivating hope. This belief that things can get better. It's not just something that some people have, that you're born with. It's not something, it's a state of mind. Dr. Jane Goodall talks about it in the Book of Hope. I love what she says about hope. She says it's like you're going through a dark tunnel, and at the end of the tunnel you see this bright, shining star. And that's hope. But we don't sit down and wish that the star comes to us, do we? If we're going through a tunnel, we keep going. Like somebody said, if you find yourself walking through hell, you better keep on walking. Right? We keep moving, we keep doing, we keep striving, we keep doing the things that we know that we can do. She also talks about this critical awareness. Things aren't perfect. I mean, well, we don't honestly say things aren't perfect, but we haven't arrived where everybody's accepted, everybody's valued, we believe in the unity of people, but we have made progress. Things have gotten better. Things have gotten better for many people. So it's important to recognize that. We have made some progress. Do we have more progress to make? Absolutely. Absolutely. So resilience is about hope and critical awareness. And then she also says it's about letting go of this numbing that we want to do sometimes, the numbing of the discomfort, the pain, the frustration, the things that we feel. Feel it, experience it, be present with it. You know? So often we want to numb it by drinking, drugging, sexing, shopping, whatever we might want to use. So yeah, power and resilience. Keep moving. You know, it's hard sometimes when you get knocked down, but it's important for us to know we can get back up and to help each other get back up. I'm at the I now, is about integrity. It's about living from your truth. And I want to remind you, it's about living from your wholeness. I just want to remind you of the words, some of the words to that song that Denise wrote. It's about living our truth, living our wholeness, being in integrity with what we know to be true. Living in integrity with our unity, being in integrity with love, and living that love out loud with courage. And I know sometimes that's hard to do. She says, what love needs is my voice speaking from my truth. What love needs is showing up, knowing what is mine to do. What love needs is hands and feet. What love needs is me. We'll never find a brighter light than shining as our lives. When one of us stands, we all rise. And so it's important for us to show up, speak our truth. I haven't attended a pride parade in decades. I haven't been to an event. Jay saw this this poster for a Pride concert, and I was shocked that it was going to be held at First Baptist Church in Denver. I was like, what? They must not be Southern Baptist. Come to find out, they are not Southern Baptist. But it's important for us to show up, to be present. And it's a reminder for me to be present. It's been 4 years since the murder of George Floyd. 4 years. It's hard to believe. And how did we all stand up right after that? So many of us stood up. Are we still standing up? Are we still speaking our truth? Are we still speaking from love? Many are. But it's a reminder for me. Am I living in integrity? And sometimes it takes that courage to do that, to stand up and be who you are, to speak your truth, let your light shine. So power, resilience, integrity, and devotion is the D. And I went to Mark Nepo because I think he says it much better than I could ever say it. So this is from November 13th, and it's entitled "To Marry One's Soul." Being true to who we are means carrying our spirit like a candle in the center of our darkness. If we are to live without silencing or numbing essential parts of who we are, a vow must be invoked and upheld within oneself. The same commitments we pronounce when embarking on a marriage can be understood internally as a devotion to the care of one's soul, to have and to hold, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish till death do us part. This means staying committed to your inner path. This means not separating from yourself when things get tough or confusing. This means accepting and embracing your faults and limitations. It means loving yourself no matter how others see you. It means cherishing the unchangeable radiance that lives within you, no matter the cuts and bruises along the way. It means binding your life with a solemn pledge to the truth of your soul. It is interesting that the nautical definition of marry is, quote, to join two ropes end to end by interweaving their strands, end quote. To marry one's soul suggests that we interweave the life of our spirit with the life of our psychology, the life of our heart with the life of our mind, the life of our faith and truth with the life of our doubt and anxiety. And just as two ropes that are married create a tie that is twice as strong, when we marry our humanness to our spirit, we create a life that is doubly strong in the world. We marry our humanness and our spirit. And so when we show up as who we are, with all our faults, with all our limitations, with all our idiosyncrasies, with what we believe, when we show up as that, from a place of deep connection and love, and continue to be devoted to who we are here to be, That is pride. Self-acceptance, self-love, self-valuing, self-worth, no matter how we show up. And I know that's sometimes challenging. And then the E for me is enthusiasm. Yay! It's actually from the Greek, entheos, one with God or one with the divine. And I'll just share with you, growing up as a gay man, it was in my late teens, for I guess almost a couple of decades, I didn't want to hear about God. Because God to me was about judgment. God to me was about condemnation. God to me was about, I am not worthy. So don't talk to me about God. It wasn't until I was 34 that I walked into Unity Church of Dallas. And discovered that there are people who believe in a God of love. Yeah? And I remember sitting there, and I started singing this meditation song. And today, even today, it resonates in my mind, in my heart, in my spirit, and it's, I am as God created me. I am as God created me. And it really spoke to me. I am as God created me. You are as God created you. You are the creative life energy itself. Nothing wrong with you. You are worthy of love and belonging and acceptance. Just as you are. And I would like to say to you today that from that moment, I have never had a single doubt or fear or worry. I said I would like to say that. I would like to say that. But that's really not true, because even today, the words that I heard somebody say, I would rather my child be dead than be gay, are still somewhere in my nervous system. And they still get triggered from time to time. They still get triggered from time to time. And I don't believe them anymore when I stop to question it. But when they get triggered and that energy is ignited, I can get into fear and worry and doubt. And so I want to say to you today, to us today, pride does matter. Because we all need to hear that we are loved and lovable. We all need to hear that we are worthy. We all need to hear that we belong. All of us. from whatever walk of life, whatever we might have experienced. And I know that I'm not alone in that, just because one aspect of me happens to be that I'm gay. I don't care if you are cisgender. I don't care if you are heterosexual. I don't care if you are Christian. I don't care if you are male. I don't care how you express. All of us have received messages from time to time that we don't belong, that we're unworthy. So pride matters to us all. Power, resilience, integrity, devotion, and living from the awareness that you are one with God. And that so is everyone else. So pride matters. So sing with me, if you will. I am as God created me. Is that too high? Yes. I am as God created me. Let's do it this way. I am as love created me. I am as love created me. And that love needs your hands, your feet, your voice, your truth, your willingness, your integrity, your devotion. And so we stand. We stand with pride, right where we are, whoever we are, wherever we are. And say with me together, and so it is. So take a moment, truly breathe into that. Breathe into the space of your heart where you know and you know that you truly are created as the image and likeness of love, the image and likeness of perfection. And that in that awareness, your world of your thoughts, your feelings, your conditioning began to be uplifted, redeemed, changed. You have the power to change your world. In this moment, claim that you are that energy, that consciousness of hope. That truly things are better and things continue to get better. Commit yourself to living in integrity with your spirit, with your essence, your wholeness, devoted to your unique, wonderful expression of the divine, knowing that you are one. One with God, one with Source, one with life, and one with all humanity and all creation. And as we breathe into that, we ground it, we feel it coming alive in every cell of our bodies, every fiber of our being, every thought, every feeling, every aspect of our world is uplifted. And let us proclaim together aloud, boisterously, and so it is.